and what's this week's Devil in the Detail podcast? I'm Rob Parkinson, and I'm here talking all things. So for Devils joining the show this week, as ever, we got Paul Whiteside. Unfortunately, camera not working today. Paul, not going to be our YouTubers not able to see your beautiful face, but here to talk all things Salford Devils.
Well, they might be able to in a bit. I've just got a dog asleep on me, and my daughter's fast asleep as well. My youngest, because we went swimming after school today. I think she's absolutely shattered. So I don't want to move her because Ellen's out. She's got to take that. So I'm on my own today. I finished work at 1 o'clock and toddled off there. So I've done 2 school runs, and I had to finish at dinner time myself today. So I had to do 2 school runs, and then we went swimming after school, and the dog's been out. And you know what? I don't know how she does it. I'm absolutely worn out. I'd rather be at work, to be honest with you. But yeah, I'm doing all right. I'm ready to talk rugby league with you too.
Keeping Britain warm or keeping the family running, which is the most difficult job?
Keeping the family running, mate. My day job's easy. I can do that with a blindfold on, but no, looking at it, well, it's girls, isn't it? You know, trying to keep bloody girls out.
Yeah.
A bloody teenager as well. It's hard work, mate.
It is. Also joined by Paul Parkin. Still sicky poo, Parky, but coming out the other end.
Yeah, I think anyone watching on YouTube probably wish my camera wasn't working today. I feel and look dreadful. Yeah, I can't get shut of this. I'm on my own and all tonight, so my missus has gone to watch Julian Clary at the Opera House. Don't ask. I think somebody bought her a ticket. I don't know. I didn't even know she was a fan. I don't presume she is really. So we're all alone, except for the dog again, like Paul. But other than that, yeah, I'm feeling a little bit dreadful, not sleeping very well. But other than that, obviously I've been walking around with a big smile on my face. Things are looking up, aren't they? So other than that, everything's good.
Yeah, I'm not on my own. My son's in the room next door playing Fortnite. So if you're hearing screams and gunfire, then I'll be jumping up telling him to shut up. So so I'm not alone. It's the curse of having thin walls, Parker. Can't shut him up at times.
Well, if you hear any gunfire here, it's probably just outside. There's every chance. Yeah, well, I mean, I don't know how you both go on, to be honest with you. I really don't. I love my peace and quiet, and having people running around me all the time, that drive me absolutely nuts.
It is that, but you get used to it after a while, and peace and quiet just becomes a murmured hush, doesn't it, Paul?
Well, yeah, that's why I drive around at work with the radio off. So I get my peace and quiet then when I'm working. But you do get used to it, don't you? I mean, I'm quite laid back like you two, really. I let a lot of stuff just goes over my head, and that. And when we're a bit stressed, me and Dixon go out for a walk, and we tend to go out for hours on end together. So that's my peace and quiet.
Yeah. So lots to go at this week. We're going to look back at the win at Huddersfield. Our ladies in 9 action. Reserves win at home against Wakefield. All the big news coming out this week. And we look forward to the Leigh game on Friday night. So we're going to start with the win at Huddersfield. So Salford Devils were victorious away at Huddersfield Giants. They won 16 points to 18. Paul, good result for Paul Rowley's men. Yeah,
apologies about the dog. The daughter's upstairs. He's bouncing about, so he thinks there's someone at the door. Dixon, there's no one here. Come and sit down. Sorry, lads. Sorry about that. Yeah, we played well. We played really well, and I thought we dominated the game for until that last sort of 9 minutes or so. I thought we were head and shoulders above Huddersfield. I think there's mitigation in that last 9 minutes. I thought. I mean, we lost Joe Shorrocks, we lost Joe Mellors, Willie broke his hand, and we were running on empty really there. The lads had to. Paul Rowley had to sort of, do the substitutions and what have you. And I think Huddersfield threw caution to the wind. They got a bit lucky, got a couple of tries. I mean, on another day, Lola wouldn't have scored that, and they wouldn't have got that. So I think it really glossed over it for them, really. I mean, I'd be disappointed if it was Huddersfield because they lacked ideas. I thought we was head and shoulders above them, as I said, and we really wanted it more. I thought what impressed me the most was some cracking tries, but it was the determination in defence. And I think I said to you, didn't I, that set after half time, we'd had 12 men, and we pushed them back behind the ring goal area. And I thought I was so proud of them. They just gave everything, and delighted to get the win. I went to the game Friday night, and I didn't shouldn't say this, but I didn't think we were going to win. I thought, I'm not so sure tonight, but proved me wrong again. And they was absolutely brilliant, and I was really proud of them coming home on a Friday night. Great win.
Yeah. 2 stages down to 12 men, Parky. 20 minutes, like Paul said, big defence, and obviously Huddersfield will be a contender for a player spot, like we will be. So a victory at Huddersfield is a psychological point up for us.
Oh, very much so, especially away from home. I think I thought from very early on we just looked more enthusiastic than they did. The thing is with Huddersfield and Ian Watson is everything. I said it last week. They're very sort of methodical in what they do. They're very process driven, and it seems to me that they only started playing when the game was virtually gone, and they become a dangerous team, like most teams do. When you start throwing a ball about, that's the only way they were in the game. Other than that, I thought, like Paul said, I thought we just dominated it. I thought defensively, some of the efforts. I mean, not just the one where we put them behind the line just after our time. We tackled them in the touch. You know, we were forcing them back in the tackle. There was 2 or 3 men every time, just banging them out. And there was no one bouncing off tackles this week. You know, letting them get the offloader out. It was fantastic. Out wide, we looked really strong. And then what was pleasing was when we had the ball in their 20, and especially in the first half, how many dropouts we forced to get a restart. Now, recently, I think that's been a little bit of a letdown in our game. That when it comes to the last tackle, our options have been a little bit. We've either died with the ball or we booted it in the air and the fullback's taken it and kind of. We forced them in goal constantly. And obviously, a problem that Rolls and Aggie had seen in however they set up. And obviously, with Sneyd's kicking game, it's pinpoint every time. So use it, get it along the ground, get it in the end goal. And we caused them so many problems. I think that also will gas them out because they're having to give us the ball back, defend again. I just thought we got everything right. It was some absolutely stellar performances from our lads. But I've just got to go back to what Paul said. I just thought we dominated the game.
Yeah, I think our edge defence was good as well. Ethan Ryan, Nenny McDonald, you know, reading the play. I know we talked about it against Castleford where we get caught out.
Yeah.
But, you know, this week, both were spot on, Paul. And obviously, when you're that good on an edge, errors are forced, and Huddersfield threw the ball in touch numerous times under pressure.
Yeah, I just thought Huddersfield they didn't seem to have any direction really, especially in that first half. They had Jake Connor running around in circles, Lollery, and they looked like they just met up on a field somewhere, and they'd never played together before. And I thought they lacked intensity, they lacked enthusiasm. I think they just sort of thought they were going to roll us over, and I think they were shocked. I think they were shocked by our intensity levels, how tough we were, you know, thinking they were going to walk through us, and they weren't. We were tough. We've got some tough players there, you know, lads that come off the bench as well. Singleton, I thought, was amazing. Ormond Royd as well. Then you've got Shorrocks, who comes off the bench and works his socks off. Partington, every week puts a shift in. So, yeah, I was really, really impressed with that first half. I thought every time we had the ball, we looked like we were going to score. You know, we've got options left and right. Whereas they were sort of lumping the ball forward corner. We looked dangerous on both edges. I mean, Sneyd's kicking game was outstanding. I mean, the lad who I was helping do the commentary, he said, he's kicked to Swift a few times. But if you look at it, yeah, Swift's a danger man. But he wasn't dollying the kicks to Swift. He was turning him round, kicking it into space. And he was wearing him out. I mean, every sort of kick return they had, it was a difficult kick to turn because it was a greasy night as well, wasn't it? So I thought our tactics, you know, Rowley out-coached Watson there. I thought it was absolutely spot on. I think the scoreline, as I said, flattered Huddersfield. I think we were 20 points better than them in that game. I don't care what anybody says. And you know, it was great to get the win because they're another fancied side, aren't they? You know, they spent a lot of money. I think they topped whack on the salary cap and got some good players out there. And it just shows how good this team is we've got.
Yeah, I think kicking to Swift is a good idea as long as he chases good. Plus, he gets the ball and it takes him out of a tackle further down the line because you've got to come away from him to go back to him, Parker. So, yeah, like Paul said, good tactics by Rowley, making everyone think.
Well, yeah, because what Huddersfield like to do is have Swift running that ball in first tackle. But he's getting the ball, so he's got to take the zero tackle. And he's out of it for the next couple of tackles anyway, because he makes big meters. He's a strong lad for a winger. Yeah. Obviously, his pace is a killer. And we didn't let him get too much room, really. I know he scored, but we were, I don't know, a bit unlucky there, I think. But, again, like Paul said, that kick into him, tire him out, take the sting out of him a little bit. Brilliant tactics. It doesn't surprise me because I don't know if it's a shock to anyone. Paul Rowley knows what he's doing.
Huh?
I think we're seeing that now. So, but overall, yeah, I just thought the whole, like you say, the whole tactics, the way we played, the way we set up, the forwards were tremendous against, another big pack like last week against Warrington. We're out, you look at them man for man, they're bigger than we are, but you wouldn't have known it on the night. And a little bit more luck, and I know we'll come to it, a controversial decision. We're 18-0 up at half time, and that one decision there then doesn't lead to what happens with a sin binning, which could become costly later in the game when you're losing legs. So, we could have been 18-0 up, going in at half time with 13 men on the park. And again, I think then we run away with it. I really do. I think in the second half, I think we probably put another 18 on them. So, decision, but not a game changer, but like you say every week, Rob, there's an incident in the game which can turn something or change the momentum of the game, and that was it for me slightly. And it took the sting out of us a little bit because at that point we were breaking through at will. We were outnumbering them constantly, and I think out wide we were ripping them to bits. We were building them up in the middle and then just shifting that ball. The offloads, our offloads. How many we must have done, I don't know. Not if you get the stats for that, but the amount of offloads the whole team did. I mean, like say Joe Shorrocks, Ollie Partington, you know what you're getting off Nene, Timmy Laffey, but everybody was in on it. Every player was just turning and offloading, and Huddersfield couldn't handle us.
Yeah, just quickly run through the timeline. Salford scored first, try from Nenny McDonald, interception try, races 70 metres, beats the cover to score, Paul.
Yeah, well, I listened to what Oll's press conference and he was saying, we should have scored there, sort of thing, and it was. He really give McDonald any credit, but I thought it was a good read. I thought what he was trying to make it as a lucky try, but I thought it was a good read. It was a good read, and he showed plenty of pace. And I thought we deserved that there. And to see McDonald's face, it was a thrilling try. I mean, I thought the Ethan Ryan try was probably my favourite try of this season. But McDonald, a big smile on his face there, and me and Parky were talking before, weren't we? All three of us off like air sort of thing. And he I won't spoil Park, but I'll let Parky say it because he said it. I won't steal his thunder, but he's a quality player. Is McDonald, and over to you, Parky. I'll let you tell us what you think about him.
Well, I don't want to say it on air really.
Could I say now?
The one thing, obviously, we all can see is he's loving it. He's loving life. His celebration, but the one in the second half again, he's waving at the crowd, and he seems happy, and that makes life a lot easier. Going back to him being lucky, being in that, he was lucky. He was lucky to know that ball was going to be there at that very second, wasn't he? That's just smart reading of a game. He knew where it was going. He'd seen it on the video. He knew their moves. He'd studied. He worked hard. Paul Rowley says that. And the one thing I will say, and it doesn't happen very often with Salford players, is I think Nene McDonald is world class. I honestly do. I think he could get into any NRL team. I think every team in Super League would love him except Leeds for some reason, which may explain why Leeds are where they are. He's got pace, he's got power, he's got the offload, he's got skills. He's got a step. He can do anything. I think he is the complete modern day centre. I really do, and it's very rare I get that excited about players in terms of being world class. Certainly not wearing a Salford shirt and playing in Super League. There's not many world class players in the Super League at all. But at the moment, from what I've seen of Nene, we're only 10 rounds in. This guy's just got it.
Yeah, I spoke to him after the game, and I said to him, "What's going through your head as you intercepted there?" He just said, "Just run towards the fans, put the ball down, and go celebrate with them." So it shows, like you say, what it's all about. He was had a hand in the Ethan Ryan try as well. Lovely burst, quality offload. Ethan Ryan turns on the gas. Paul goes over from 40 metres, and Salford lead 12-0.
They're the sort of tries for me what you pay money to go and see. That thrilled me, because the roar from the crowd, that buzz of excitement, that's why I go to rugby league. That's why I love rugby league. It was a fantastic try. My favourite try so far this season. I think, was it Chris Atkin who got the little offload away. I think it was Atkin. I can't quite remember now, but it was a lovely break. It really was, and they tore Huddersfield apart down that side there. And a big shout out to Ethan Ryan as well, because I think he was getting a bit of stick when he first come into the team. A few people, so I heard people saying this stand, he's not been playing that well. He's got a lot of mistakes in him, but he's settled into the team. It's took him a few weeks. And I thought he was brilliant against Huddersfield. I thought his defence. I mean, he took a really high bomb right at the end of the game when we were under the cosh. And we were winning 18-16, and he was faultless, really. I think he made a mistake in first half, had a knock on, but we cleaned up from that. So I'm really pleased for him. I'd like to see him, get that sort of breakaway as well, that full length of the field try. I think he will do when he'll show his pace. But no, really pleased for him and Nenny McDonald. I think that edge they were on, but they were great.
Yeah. So Salford had a try disallowed from Ryan Briley. Obstruction, Parky. For me, I think the referee got it wrong. I think it was a case of mistaken identity. I don't think he saw, is it Stone in the line, and I think that's why he gave it.
Yeah, I just want to go back to that try, by the way. Massive raps to Marc Sneyd. He got the ball on the left-hand side, stepped and stepped and stepped. Took half the Huddersfield team out, then passed it. I think Watkins got it to Atkin. Atkin just got a little ball out, and then you leave the quality players to do the rest. McDonald and Ryan. Yeah, he's got it wrong. He's made the wrong call. What I don't get is there'll be tries every single week, and you'll go straight away, well, that's a try. And he'll go, I'll have a look at that. And you go, what are you looking for? I can see that from here that it's a try. Mm. This one, rather than letting the play go through, let him put the ball down and then go, let's have a look. I think there's an obstruction in there. It just says obstruction straight away. Well, that's not... Why have we got the video ref then? We either overuse it for stupid things or don't use it when it's controversial. I couldn't understand his decision. And at the time, I remember looking around and saying to people, what's he giving here? And they were going, he's giving obstruction. I went, he can't have done. There's no obstruction there. I said, has he given forward pass? Maybe he's seen a forward pass in it. And then, because obviously we're behind the sticks at that point, and I can't see side on what's. And then when I watched it back, I thought, there isn't an obstruction anywhere there. So he has got it wrong. But I don't understand why he just didn't let the play go on. Let him put the ball down. Let Chris Kendall do his thing in the video booth. Make decisions from there. It's silly mistakes like that that cost games. If players make mistakes, you get dropped. The referee made a big mistake there.
But
in the second half, by the way, which we'll come to. But it could affect a game. At that point, we got to have a go 18-0 up. Like I say, they go down the other end, and then we know what happens next.
I agree with that, but referees, Paul, to make a decision. He does have a video referee there, just in case there is doubt in his head. Calls it as obstruction. It is a wrong decision. We want our referees to make decisions, don't we?
Yeah, but not the wrong one. Well, to make a decision, if they're 100% and they're right on the play, then yeah, make a decision and don't go to the big stream. But if you're a bit unsure, because he must have been, because he got it wrong, so he should have gone to the video referee, I thought. But he's disappointing because I don't know what he saw there. Like we were saying, he scores there with 18-0 up and it's game over. No, we could have ended up losing that game. And we were a miles better side for 70 minutes, and then something like that cost you the match. So yeah, I don't get it. I mean, you all know how I feel about this. The video ref and this on-field decision and all that carry on. I think there's loads of ways we could smarten that up, but no, we've got to move on. It was a poor decision, but I don't know. It's gone now, hasn't it? And move on. You'll get plenty more of them before the end of the season.
Yeah, I think with obviously the referee had a bit of a mare in the second half as well, because he penalised Brad Singleton for hooking at the ball, even though he was the hooker, and I think he realised halfway through that sort of action that he'd got it wrong, but he couldn't sort of give Salford the ball because Salford hadn't committed. Huddersfield hadn't committed a penalty, Parky, so he had to reset the scrum, and he just sort of shrugged his shoulders, even though Salford players were going mad. But I suppose it's one of them.
Yeah, but it's excuse me, it's disappointing though, because things like that. That's he's watching that at the scrum. He can see what's going on. He's got full scope. It's not like these men, it's not like oh, he can't see if someone's offside or someone's not square at the play. But he's looking straight at that scrum. He's the man watching it and he's getting it wrong. You go, well, what are you doing? What are you there for? Very disappointing. And again, they're little things. We get the ball from there, from that scrum, with 20 yards out from their line again on the attack with 6 tackles. Another chance to extend the lead, take the game away from them. Last 10 minutes don't happen. Or if they do, they're nothing like as nervy as they became. So I'm not here to have a pop at referees. I think most of the game he ref really well. I thought he did all right. The red card, yellow cards are very debatable, to be honest. Well, not the Chris Atkin one. That's a yellow card. I think them calls got wrong. One of them was done by the video ref as well. That was wrong. But they're things that go on that you can sort of excuse. The offsides and all that, I thought he marshalled it really well. He let the game go a little bit. Not as good as the ref the week before, but things like that are disappointing when they could turn a game. They're the incidents that could make the difference. And sometimes you go, if he wasn't pulling them back for being offside all the time, how much influence is that going to have in a game? Not as much as giving an obstruction that isn't one and denying us the ball when it's ours, things like that. So, but again, I don't want to just bag the referees. It's a hard enough job as it is, but we've just got a little bit better with these bigger decisions.
So just for half time, Salford were reduced to 12 men. Ryan Briley took the head off the Huddersfield defender in the act of score, well, trying to stop him from scoring. Paul took his yellow card, walked off the field. We were down to 12 men. I
thought it was a poor decision, to be honest. Robert, the tackle he had to make, and he put his arm over the guy's shoulder. He was going down anyway. I don't think it was contact with the head, but a bit of a soft one. But you take it, don't you? Then we had to take the 12 men. Then I think it was like 9 minutes of the second half. We were down to 12 as well, weren't we? So yeah, I don't know. Like the sending off, I didn't think that was a red card, to be honest with you. I thought it was 2 players coming together. Both of them put their heads together. All the referee had to do there was bring them both together and say, look, I'm the referee, behave yourselves, get on with it. And you know what? People are saying, God, he ain't a good referee. Respect to him. But they don't. They make a stupid decision like that and send somebody off. And it was Tim Laffey who was winding him up anyway. So really, Laffey should have gone as well because they both did the same thing. But I felt sorry for that young lad there because, I thought it was a poor decision. But yeah, I think the Atkin one was a professional foul, I think, but the Briley one, yeah, I don't know, debatable, that one.
Yeah, very. I think, the Huddersfield one, it's all about the letter of the law, isn't it? And these referees are marked by an official in the stadium, and they'll basically say, did the Huddersfield player head make contact with the Salford player's head in an aggressive, well, in a way? And it did. So he has to send him off because there's a little headbutt rather than a big headbutt. The Chris Atkin one, like Paul said, I think that probably is, but it's a big man running at a small man, and Chris Atkin's got to do something to stop him. So he just tackles him without the ball. If he gets the ball, it's a cracking tackle. So that's unfortunate. But we did weather the storm, didn't we? Which was good for the 20-minute period in that second half, and it all come up good in the end.
Yeah, well, the Ryan Briley one's it's a penalty at best. That's as far as it goes. The players coming together. I know what you're saying about the law. I know you're getting marked, but if you're getting marked, this referee's got a few bad marks already, so
yeah,
wouldn't have made any difference. A little bit of common sense refereeing, though. Like Paul said, call them out, calm. It wasn't that kind of game. It wasn't a dirty game. There's no flashpoints really. He could have just called them out and said, "Look, that's stupid. What are you doing?" I like Paul said. Tim was laughing at him. Tim was. It can be a bit of a wind up. So, yeah, I think that's a bit silly. The Chris Atkin one, not only the penalty though. The problem was that Chris carried on gobbing off at the referee. You're not going to win. Just stop it, Chris. He had no option. The referee was probably looking at him going, "Sorry, did you just see what you did? And by the way, don't talk to me." So off you go. That's fine. I've got no problem with that. And that's what I mean. Things like that, you go, "Well done, ref. Yeah, I agree. He's my player. We got that right." Because A, it's a bad tackle, or a missed time tackle, if you like. Secondly, keep your gob shut. You're not captain of this team. If the skipper's got something to say, then fine. But so a lot of little things went on. But again, like you say, makes the referee look bad. I don't think the red card came from him. I think that came from upstairs. I think someone's looked at that and told him, you've got to send him off. You don't have to send him off. You don't.
He does.
Young kid. He's not landed a head on him, has he?
I know that.
Together.
The question is,
these guys put it together all the way through the game. In tackles, there's all this going on. We want to see the best product on the pitch. At the start of the season, people getting sent off for stupid things, for a head clash. What? You can't get sent off for a head clash. You did. Then they've realised, actually, we've gone too far with this. We need to step it back a bit. And that's what we just want, common sense. Let the game flow. We got 13 against 13 for most of the time. If it's serious foul play, off you go. If it's worthy of a yellow card, off you go. But a little talking to an incident like the play had stopped, the ball was dead. There's no massive fight came from it. A little bit of a push and a shove. I mean, come on. The game's going too far that way now. I watched last night when I couldn't kit Hull FC versus Leeds from the Boulevard in 1992. If you thought the game was violent, I mean, what them lads were doing then in the 90s. Never mind what went on the 80s and the 70s. But it was far more entertaining. And there was no moaning. There was nobody going, oh, he's hit me, ref. He's done it. They were getting cracked and getting up. That was it. Just get on with it. The referees went over and said, don't do that again. Simple. And that's where we need to get back to. I don't want serious foul play. I don't want high tackles. I don't want people getting laid out. But come on, these lads are pumped up. We're talking athletes here. We're talking men with adrenaline pumping through them. A split second like that. It's not worthy of a red card.
I agree with Parky, but like you say, I think the decision was made up above, and the letter of the law probably was there deliberate head contact between player A and player B? Yes. Was it malicious? Was it super aggressive? No. But did it happen? Yes. So he's got to send him off. I know it's terrible, and to be fair, there wasn't much. I think there'd have been more made out with it. Remember the Warrington one where they collided heads in the tackle and he got sent off. There was a big thing about that, and everyone just settled down after that. So this one wasn't really much of a echo around rugby league about it, so they kind of got away with it, if you know what I mean.
But haven't they already come out and said they made a mistake and there's no disciplinary for it? Haven't they already said that?
I think so.
He's not going to get a ban for it.
If you look at it, though, if you look at the replay of it, who puts the head on who? Because both their heads go together. And when you get that sort of situation, it's a show of aggression between two players. Yeah. And this is an aggressive sport. We're not baking cakes here. This is rugby league. And I think your referees need to realise that sometimes. I don't know if referees have played the game before or what. I don't know, because I'm not getting into that debate. But I think when you're a referee, yeah, you've got to learn all the rules and all that. But you should also have to learn how things are in the heat of the moment. You should have to learn about situations and that. In a big match, you're going to get aggression. These blokes are tackling each other and there's a lot of pressure. They say that, it's Super League, every minute matters and all that. Yeah, well, it's going to do. You're going to get players involved and you got to send people. I don't understand why, if you want to say letter of the law, sin bin them both then. Just sin bin the pair of them. Because they were both as bad as each other, and I'm a Salford supporter. So, but I agree with Parky. I think sometimes we're in danger of sort of sanitising our sport, really. I don't want to see foul play and blokes getting their heads taken off and blokes getting bad injuries and things like that. But I think if you take that little bit of competitive edge away from players, it's not worth it, is it?
Yeah, soft, but it was what it was. And like Parky said, if they haven't decided to ban him, then that probably proves the fact that it shouldn't have been what it was. But if he hadn't have done it, I don't think the referee would be refereeing a Super League game. If he'd just had the word in his ear, you've got to send him off, and he'd have gone, you know what, I'm not going to send him off. I mean, that's like terminal probably for his career. So he has to follow his sort of his lead from the guy up the top, Parker.
Yeah, well, the other side to it is it's not like most jobs. There aren't that many referees, so if he gets kicked off, we've got a referee for next weekend. We're in trouble. So I think they're pretty safe. I think that's why they don't get dropped when they have a bad game, because there isn't any proper, there aren't many full-time Super League referees. So that's something else that the game's got to look at that. But I don't want to bag referees again. I do it a lot, and I don't mean to. Some referees are just terrible. And some are better than others. And I don't think overall he had a bad game, but just a few key points, and that one was taken out of his hands, and he got a choice. So yeah, I mean that's the way it goes. Could spoil the game, probably didn't, because they lost him for 20 odd minutes at the end of the game. We lost 2 players in that game for 20 minutes.
Yeah.
So swings and roundabouts.
Yeah. So second half, first 10 minutes, Paul, we withstand the pressure from Huddersfield, but then we go up the other end, and Nina McDonald scores from dummy half, dives over, 18-0, waves to the crowd from 70 metres there, away, like Parky said, and we're 18-0 with the good.
Yeah, that came on the back of that defence, forcing Huddersfield behind their own try line there. We got a drop out there, and I think, if I remember rightly, Sneyd forced another drop out with a lovely kick, because I don't know how many dropouts we forced in that game. There was plenty of them anyway, and that put the pressure on Huddersfield, and it was another thoroughly deserved try. So I think our tactics were bang on, to play like that when you're down to 12 men, just set the sting out of Huddersfield. And I thought we were really professional. I thought Chris Atkin and Marc Sneyd have done really well at half-back together. And I tell you something else, I prefer Kay Cust at hooker. Yeah, I think he's better at hooker. I think he just looks more dangerous at number 9. And I think Atkin and Sneedy complement each other a little bit better than when Cust was at 6. So I think that could be his new role, really. So I thought he was really good. He looks more comfortable at 9. And he's a good defender as well. So yeah, I was very pleased for Sneyd again, though, on the back of his new contract. He bossed that game, really. He manages it so well, and the kicking game from him, it's so valuable, because he's just like having an army general on pitch, because everything's just so organised, and everybody knows the job, everybody knows what they're doing. His goal kicking was good as well. I mean, that was the difference, wasn't it, in the end? But the kicking game, I thought, nailed Huddersfield, really, and that was the difference between the two teams.
Yeah, I agree with Paul. Parky, Cust at hooker, very, very good. Obviously, with Joe Mellor being injured, he might get a bit more of a run there.
Yeah, well, I said last week, didn't I? I mean, I've said it a few times. I think you said earlier in the season, I thought, probably when we go to Hull KR, I think, in the cup, I said I think Cust more of a hooker. And then Paul Rowley confirmed it basically Monday night at that supporters meeting. He said it there as well. He said, he could play loose forward if you wanted. Because one of his big strengths, Cust, is his defence, which you're going to need if you're going to play at 9. And I think Paul's right. I think he definitely, when he came on, he made a couple of good runs, scoops from acting half. And one big thing with Chris Atkin, he's really game. His defence was unbelievable at times. Yeah. He was just flying out the line, crunching anything that moved. So we're not losing anything defensively with him, with Atkin there, and we don't, we gained something at hooker. I think you're right. I think now he's going to get a decent run at hooker. We don't know how long, obviously, Joe's going to be out for, but I mean, it's a massive blow, because Joe Miller's been in great form and playing really well. Don't know where Amir Borough is at the moment in terms of fitness, how far away he is. So, yeah, it's a great chance for Cade to actually stamp a position now in the team. And I think like Paul said there, Sneyd and Atkin together just works. Just absolutely work. I mean, to be fair to them, I think anyone could play next to Marc Sneyd at the moment. I think I'd probably do all right outside him, because he's making the game look so easy for everybody, controlling everything. The pace of the game, when it's time to get the ball off the island, when it's time to put it in goal, when it put it in the air, when it spread the ball wide, and again, another one whose defence is really good, because he's not a massive bloke, Marc Sneyd, but he gets stuck in. So, yeah. But I mean, that try, by the way, by Nene, he picked that ball up. It wouldn't have mattered if there was another 5 men on the line. No one was going to stop him from there. I mean, he's a big, big, powerful man, and he'd seen what he was going to do. And that's what I mean about these players who just have the X factor, that little bit of smarts about them. He didn't run at the player; he ran to the gap, which I always see that when players pick the ball up at acting, they dive at this man, and you think, "What are you doing that for? You're going to get through him." So he's spotted the gap, and then that killed the game. Then I think, even though they came back into it, that at that point you just thought, "That's it. We've done him." We're 12 men on the pitch at that point as well. So brilliant. And he burnt down the clock. We got Ryan back on.
Yeah. So red card for them, yellow card for us. We're still leading with 15 minutes to go. 18-0, Paul. Huddersfield, nothing to lose. They start moving the ball about. And, we talk about pressure situations and playoff rugby. And I think it was a good test for us because we're going to come across teams like that later in the season when we're all in the mix for the playoffs and people will have to chance their arm and we will have to go up levels to defend. So I think it was a good exercise for Paul Rowley's men.
Yeah, it was. I think you've got that intensity in playoff games, haven't you? Especially when you're away from home. And, for a fact, when you go away from home in Super League, you're going to get tested. It's going to be like the Alamo at times. Teams are going to get loads of ball and they're going to come at you. And Huddersfield did there. And I thought we dug in. I thought we were calm. I thought we were professional. There was times there at the end when it got back to 18-16, that last minute or so. I thought, please God, don't give a penalty away now. And we didn't. We kept it tight and we saw the game out. And we deserved it. I mean, like I said before, I think Huddersfield just chucked everything at us there, didn't they? Because they had nothing to lose. They'd lost the game anyway. They threw caution to the win, forced the pass, and yet it came off. I mean, 9 times out of 10, it won't come off, and they wouldn't have got those tries. I mean, Lollery was a bit of magic there, wasn't he? I mean, on another day, that ball goes dead, doesn't it? So I think they had to do that there. But we'd done the hard work. We'd done the hard work for the 70 minutes of the game and been the miles better side.
Thoughts, Packer?
Yeah, no, I agree. And it's strange, and like I was saying about Huddersfield before, about them being very structured, very sort of, I don't know, like possession-based and territory and all that. And it's not great entertainment to watch. And when we went 18 up, and especially when they went a man down, they seem to play the anti of what Ian Watson wants them to play. And I don't want to bag Watto, but is he the one that's holding Huddersfield back? Because they've clearly got players with talent. And when they started throwing the ball about, they looked like a different team. They were dangerous. They were more expansive, and they've got pace. They've got power. They've got, a lot of big men. But they didn't seem to use it. It was more like just drive it in, and let's kick it, get in Salford's half. Whereas when they started to play from their own half, they were a different beast. I think that's been Watson's problem. Even when he was with us, I think he's overcautious in the way he plays. A lot of, take the two rather than put your foot on and let's go for them and extend leads and, that kind of thing. So I think it woke Huddersfield up and made them a very dangerous beast in that last 10 minutes. But again, we held our discipline. That was the main thing. Because like Paul said there, that last minute only takes one penalty to be given away within Golden Point, or they go and score. At that point, we were blowing a bit. We'd played, like I said, we'd had 2 stints with 12 men. We'd lost Shorrocks, we'd lost Mellor. We were down on troops. It was going to be very difficult if we had to go into extra time, which I really didn't want. So, but we just held out and we did what we had to do. And if we had lost that game, it would have been like the week before against Warrington. It would have been a massive injustice because we were the best. We've been the best team in both of them games by a long, long way.
Obviously, Huddersfield put us under the pump in that last 10 minutes. Question to you both, this one. Is there anything we could have done different in that 10 minutes to take the sting out of it? Do you think? Anything? For me, I think we gave away a couple of silly penalties to give them territory, which we might, probably wouldn't have done if we had it again. Like you said, though, last minute we were dead tight and we didn't do anything silly. But I watched that last 10 minutes and I just thought, Huddersfield, there was a kick through where Briley kicks it dead. And he's 5 meters short of the line. Does he dive on the ball there and not give Huddersfield another set there? Paul, is it? But in that situation, he just wants to clear the ball off the island, doesn't he? If he gambles, drops on the ball, knocks the ball on, Huddersfield score, then it's real problems, then, isn't it? So it's all swings and roundabouts anyway. Yeah,
I thought we should have dropped a goal, to be honest, before our time. I think, especially 18-0 in the second half, I think we should have banged one over. I think 19-0 psychological, it's game over. But just going back to what you said about Briley, you've got to kick that ball dead. You've got to kill it. Yeah. He made the mistake the week before. Yeah. And he didn't. And George Williams whipped round him. And he had the cheek the week before to have a go at Dion Cross. And it wasn't Cross's fault. It was his fault because he'd left it. And I think he was shouting at Cross saying, why didn't you tell me there was someone there? But he must have. You can't take that risk. No. You've got to get rid of the ball. And he learned his lesson there and he did that. So, because again, that could have cost us the game.
But I said last week, I think if he gets the same incident again, he bangs that ball into the south stand. Well, he got the same incident again this week and banged the ball into the away end. So that's I'm not going to knock him for that. I understand what you're saying, Rob, and I do appreciate. I think if we'd have been behind, he probably would have dived on it and try to keep the ball alive and go again. But just get the ball off, waste a bit of time, get a drop out, stick them back in there half if you can get it further enough down the park. I think I'm trying to think of what we could have done. I don't think we had enough ball in that point. I think we were just so exhausted. We were struggling a bit. And one thing we'll say, as much as we laud him, and I love the guy, Chris Atkins' sin binning could have been very costly. It's silly little things like that cost you games. You know, like I say, Huddersfield weren't in that game really. They weren't a threat to us. And it went to 12 against 12, and then they started throwing the ball about. Like I said, we had players missing. We had 13 players on the park. Them gaps don't open up. They're not as easy. They don't get through us. So the one thing I would say we could do different is keep everybody on the park if that's at all possible.
Yeah, I'm just thinking of ways how we could have switched the momentum back to us. That was the way. And I just thought if he dives on it, we get the ball, we can drive out, kick deep, squeeze. But like you say, it's whether he can control the ball in that situation, in the pressure of whatever 1,000 Soul fans screaming at him to do something with it. You know what I mean? So
the other side is he keeps the ball alive. We play the ball, next pass goes to ground, or he knocks on and he gets it stripped off him in the next tackle, and they go and score. You're going, why didn't he just put that ball out of play and kill it?
Yeah.
He can't win. I know what you're saying, and I do. I think he would have been behind. He might have dived on it, and we'd try to play on because we needed to get into the game. But we were ahead. We were in control. Don't take any risks. Get a ball out and try and kill the clock more than anything else.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a tough one. I mean, they'll have looked at it. I just don't think we had enough ball at that point in the game.
Yeah. We knocked on, I think, as well in that 10-minute period. I think in there 40, where you just think, just complete the set, kick deep, squeeze, make them come a long way, Paul. But like you say, we got the job done. I'm just thinking of ways to switch the momentum so we have momentum going forward. That was all I'm thinking. I think Riley made the right decision doing what he did. But I'm just, like you say, he gave them the ball back and another wave on us. That was the problem. Oh.
Yeah. Momentum, like you say, it can change hands a lot in rugby league, though, can't it? I know you're saying, can we gain momentum? Sometimes you can't. Sometimes you can't, and you've got to deal with it, and you've got to soak up the pressure. And I thought we did that. I thought we did enough. I was very, very impressed with that final minute or so of the game where we just took the sting out of Huddersfield. And like I said, I think a lot of their play was unstructured. They played like a team full of individuals. You know what? I don't think Jake Connor fits in that team. I think he's a poor signing for them. He's a good player. Would I have him at Salford? No, I wouldn't, because he's one of them players. Yeah, he's got flashes of brilliance and all that, but you never win out with him. I mean, it's a bit like Rangi Chase. Yeah, great individual, but what did he ever win in his career? Because other players don't really seem to. He doesn't fit into a team structure, does he? So I'd rather have a team full of Chris Wellams and Chris Atkins, who you can actually win something with, than a team full of Jake Connors and Rangi Chases. So I'm not slagging the guy off because he's a good player, but I don't think he can play with that Tuilala here, because they don't seem to know what each other's doing. When the ball kept going back to Connor, it was a hit and hope kick every time. Just a big dung down the field. So at least with us, we were creating chances. I mean, if you look for the first 70 minutes of that game, I don't think Huddersfield created anything in that game, or they never ever looked like scoring. That's how I felt so comfortable. But no, just to answer your question, Rob, because we've gone around the houses a bit. I thought we were comfortable, and it was a good solid victory.
Yeah, team stats now. Possession, Huddersfield had 54%, we had 46%. Completion rate, they were at 62%, we were at 90%. They made 1,327 metres, we made 1,208 metres. They made 251 tackles, we made 333. They made 12 errors, we made 6 errors. They missed 35 tackles, we missed 49 tackles.
Wow. Wow. We missed 49 tackles.
I think so.
Are you sure?
I watched it back and I didn't see many missed tackles at all. I don't know who's counting these. A bit bizarre. And the other thing was, I'm surprised they had more ball than us. That surprised me. More possession. Certainly because most of the game we were in control of. So again, another strange one, but that's what the stats say. That's what they say.
They got 48 missed tackles, 35 for them. So, what did you watch? What offloads didn't you, Parker? Is that right?
Yeah.
Do we have offloads? Stats. Not team ones. Carries. They made more carries than we did. Anyway, no, that's the answer.
Looking at them stats, I'd say we lost. And somehow we didn't because we were miles better than them. So you can make stats say what you want, can't you? At times, and we just had local elections. I mean, politicians do it all the time. So I think they're a bit misleading. I really do. I thought we dominated every department, but yeah.
Individual stats now, Paul. Top meter makers: Ethan Ryan 118, Nenny McDonald 253, Tim Laffey 115, Dion Cross 111, Shane Wright 68, Jack Ormonroyd 72, Gil Dudgeon 69.
Yeah, I thought Laffey and McDonald were both brilliant in that game. I mean, you look at Tim Laffey, they found him so hard to tackle, didn't they? His handoff, it's like a boxer's jab. You can't get near him, can you? So I think he was winding Huddersfield up as well, and because he's that sort of player, Tim. And I think somebody put on Twitter, his Nenny McDonald the best centre in Super League. And I replied to it going, well, Tim Laffey might have something to say about that because we've got two cracking players there who are both playing really, really well and making those meters, and that's a massive thing going forward. I noticed that the yards they're making after the contact, particularly McDonald and Laffey, they're in the tackle. They've got sort of 4 or 5 guys around, and Laffey as well. I think he got the ball out twice. He had like 4 players on him, and yet can still get the ball out in an impossible situation. And that's great then because you've got that sort of broken play. You've sucked half their defence in, then you can start moving on the back of that. So I was impressed with our goal forward. I thought we made some real good meters.
Parker got the offload stats. They did 5, we did 8.
What?
Parker. That's what it says. I've just quickly counted up the individual ones.
I counted 8 off from Nenny McDonald.
3 according to the official stats.
How many Laffey?
Anyway, we can look at that in a minute.
I'm not buying. Who's the stats man? We need to have a word here. I think you need to borrow your glasses, Rob. That's no, I'm not having that. I mean, I saw more than that myself. But anyway, yeah, bit of a strange one, but there you go. Just to say, by the way, on the centres, is there a better centre partnership in the Super League? There may be better individual centres, maybe, but is there a better, twosome, if you like, in any team? Could any team look at both centres and say they're better than Salford's? I'm not sure you can at the moment.
Not at the moment. Really, not in current form, Parker. Current form, I think it's them two.
Yeah.
Top tacklers: Craig Cuss 25, Brad Sigler 21, Sam Stone 46, Callum Watkins 30, Jack Ormonroyd 26, Joe Mellor 23, Oliver Partington 50. Parker.
I mean, Ollie was again. He's another one that did a few offloads, so I'm a bit confused. Anyway, but defensively, yeah. I mean, him, Stone, Wright, Watkins. The back rowers really get stuck in for us in defence. They work tirelessly every single week, though. It's not a one-off. Ollie Partington, I know the Catalan put out this week, didn't they? Something about him moving to them for next season. And if he does, then, fair play. He's done nothing but be magnificent for us, by the way. A great player. Really, really good talent with ball in hand. But defensively, he's in everything. He gets stuck in and he does spells as well. So he's not on the pitch for the full 80. So to do 50 tackles in that bit, that's some effort, that, and it just shows You know, and again, like I say, he was in the game with the ball in hand, leading us forward. So brilliant stats them. Really, that's some work rate.
Yeah. Big thanks for your 3-word man of the matches awards. Blood pressure tester Colin Wilson. His man of the match was McDonald. Stuart Smart, superb away day, Nenny McDonald. David Parker, best team won, Nenny McDonald. Mark Moore, game management, McDonald. Paul Whiteside's mate, Roy Ellaby. Dickie Ticker, time, Nenny McDonald. David Walling, thoroughly deserved win. Stephen Doyle, very good win, McDonald. Geordie, nervous last 10, McDonald. Leigh and Matthew, squeaky bum time. And that's about it, Paul. So Nenny picks up the points this week.
Yeah, I can't argue with that, to be honest with you. I thought he was brilliant. I thought he played really well against Warrington the week before as well. Yeah, can't argue with him at all. And you spoke to him after the game, and my dad said he was chatting to him as well. And he said, what a lovely fella. You know, a really nice bloke, really down-to-earth bloke. And I must admit, when we've been doing the interviews after the game, he always comes out with a big smile on his face, and he always says, "Hiya." Very, very polite man and a very pleasant man. So I'm really thrilled with what he's done so far. And I think, you know, hats off to our club as well. You know, let's big ourselves up, because he's enjoying it at Salford, and like we've all said, and that's. It's a good thing that we're doing. We're making players welcome. It's a good place to be, Salford, and you know the staff and the players and supporters. I think we all deserve a pat on the back, because I think we all do a good job, and you know we're a good advert for a community club.
Yeah. Our reserves were in action this weekend. Parker, they played Wakefield, won 23 points to 16. Streamed it live on the club's YouTube channel. Very good. Picture quality was good. Camera's in a good place, and entertaining rugby as well.
Yeah, it worked better than the ladies' game the week before. I'll definitely say that. Yeah, I watched the first half, and I've seen this, like the highlights of the second half. I was a bit rough, so I didn't see it all. Brilliant, great result. Really, it was a really entertaining first half. Wakefield certainly, you know, made a game of it, but I think we just looked a little bit better. Some real good talent in them reserves for us. I know Ben Halliwell was out there, David Nofaluma, but they weren't the shining stars, if you like. It was, you know, the lads that are in there every week. And it's great to see. Somebody said to me, I mentioned something about the reserves, and they said, "Have we got a reserve team?" Well, yeah, obviously we've got a reserve team. I don't know why people don't know this, but I think it was Friday night. I said, "Yeah, the reserves are playing, aren't they?" Bit bizarre, but yeah, it was good to be able to watch it. Really was, because obviously, like I said, I was laid up in bed and I wouldn't have made it down there. I wouldn't have been able to stand up for that amount of time. But yeah, so it was good to be able to see it, and some of the skill on show. I know we'll come to it in a bit, but there was something really special in that game from one of our current first team squad members. So a lot to look forward to from the boys.
Yeah. So Nathan Connell opened the scoring. Wagstaff with the assist. He sent Connell over for that first score. Salford doubled the lead with a try from Wagstaff. I think he's from our Salford Devils Development Foundation. Pretty good player. You know, I think he's got something. And obviously scores a try himself, makes one as well.
He was excellent. He really, well, I hadn't heard of him before, but he was absolutely brilliant. He has got something about him, and a bit of nurturing. I think we've got, you know, we found a bit of a gem there. And I didn't even know he's a local lad or anything like that. I mean, clearly most of them probably will be coming through there, but yeah, another good sign. And you know, you can get an academy. These lads will be, you know, we're producing them for fun, I think. So, yeah, brilliant. He played really well. He really impressed me.
Yeah. Kai Morgan dropped a goal. We went in 11-0 at half time. Wakefield hit back in the second half. Interception try made the score 11-6. Then they went in front. Dummy half run from their hooker. Burst the line. It was 12-11 then. Then they scored again. Kick to the corner. Centre gave it Winger. He crashed over and they led 16-11.
This is what I say about Kai Morgan and all just before half time. We mentioned it the week before about Marc Sneyd doing exactly that with seconds on the clock to go. Don't come away with a post with nothing at that point in the game. Could have been a lifesaver. And he got it. It was a good drop goal and all. because I dare say the conditions were rubbish. They generally are, aren't they, on that pitch? But really smart play from Kai, and we've heard a lot about him. We don't get to see enough of him, so hopefully this is a start of getting to see a little bit more of him. But yeah, Wakefield came back into it, and from what I've read of that second half, I don't know whether they got a rocket at half time or what. I mean, they played okay in the first half, but they looked a bit clunky with the ball in hand. And I thought we're going to be all right here because they don't look like they can score. Defensively, they were pretty good. It took some real skill to get over, but the second half, clearly, they fixed a few things up and really gave it to us.
Yeah, so we're under the pump, trailing 11-16. Character shown by the lads, though. They come back into it, try from Wells, kind of go through the Wakefield defence, goes under the post, make it 17-16 Salford.
Yeah, really good play. I don't know. Is he one of the Wells, like the local Wells, as in?
The problem we've got is,
well.
the problem we've got is the club aren't putting first names on players. So unless we have some kind of like squad list, I don't really know what the first names are half the time, unfortunately.
Yeah, because obviously we had Jack who went up to, I think it was a Barrow, didn't he?
Yeah.
The lad had been at Wigan. Don't know if he's related in any way. This other Wells now, but anyway, yeah, it was a good piece of play, well finished. And I think at that point, reading back through the report, sort of on Twitter and everything, or X, whatever it's called. I think that was the one that turned the tide at that point. I think it kind of broke Wakefield's will a little bit. I think they sort of sunk a little bit in the boots and thought, we're not going to get rid of these here. So just to stay in the game, because like you say, we could have gone the other way. When they started putting us under it, we could have fell apart a little bit and thought maybe it's not our day. But no, good try. Well finished.
Yeah. So it's nip and tuck at that point. Salford score again. Little kick through by Kai Morgan. Nathan Connell gets the honour of it, and the end of it, kicks on over the fullback's head, collects it, and crashes over for the score.
Yeah, reminiscent of Neil Baker. Not quite at those levels yet, but it was a really special piece of play. If you've not seen it, please get on X or on the club's website or whatever, YouTube. It's on there. It's a wonderful, wonderful try. Well finished. Nathan still had a lot to do when he got to the line to get the ball down. There was a lot of attention on him. So it was a really good finish, but a great try. Like we were saying on Friday night, the team try that we scored. It's that kind of flair that he's just brilliant. It's what you go and watch for, like Paul said. So it just shows that he's out there. And I thought Connell was really good again, Nathan Connell, and he finished it well. And him, Wagstaff, Kai Morgan, three real talents that we've got in our reserves there. Yeah.
Wakefield came late. Try-saving tackle by, I think, Ethan Fitzgerald saved the day for Salford, who were victorious 23-16. So great result for Stuart Wilkinson's boys. Obviously, we talk about the reserves and the development they're in, and we want to produce players for Championship, League One. But I think the next step is to take in, Super League players, whether they're at Salford or other clubs.
Yeah, well, I mean, the end game is obviously to get these lads in the first team, get them in the squad and get them in the first team. I know it's a big step between playing reserves and moving up, but it's still, still a good test. I mean, you're going to face players this year in the reserves that will be Super League players. We had a couple in our team. We had an NRL winger in the team, for God's sake. They, sort of Wakefield lads who played against him will pride themselves that he couldn't get over, and they did their job. Ben Halliwell, great to see him back, by the way. I think he's a tireless worker, a really underrated player. So it's good to see him running about again. But yeah, so you're going to face that through the season, and that's where the development comes. I think a couple of players in that team have got what it takes. With our squad being so small and money being tight, this might have to be the way we go anyway. Later in the season, we're going to pick up injuries. We're going to lose players. I have to draft these lads in. And I don't think a couple of them are that far off. I really don't.
Yeah, Stuart Wilkinson, Paul, experienced coach. He knows how to develop the youth. He's probably, like I say, developed a few people that have come through now playing the Championship. So I suppose his task is to bring the next generation through and 2-3 years down the line, we could have a couple in the Super League squad.
Yeah, like Parker said, that's what you want. That's what your reserve team is for. That's what pathways are for, aren't they? It's all right having them, but you want them to develop people and bring people through to play for you, don't you? Because ultimately, I mean, the bottom line is they save you an absolute fortune on signing players. If you can bring your own players through. So yeah, I mean, we were hearing good things about some lads in that squad, and the more they develop, the more games they play, and the more they play against seasoned pros and Super League players, which they will do, as Parky said. Playing in the reserves, players are going to be coming back from injuries as well. That's why every team needs a reserves team. They do, because it's so vital to players' development, because a lot of players are late developers.
Yeah.
A lot of players don't get the chance. And how many players have we seen that have sort of drifted away, and we've not nailed them down for our club, and they've gone somewhere else and blossomed and played really well and got into their team. So I think it's great, and a really positive result at the weekend, and watch this space with those young lads.
Yeah. So let's move on to our ladies. They were in nines action. Before we go on to that, Parker, I just want to make a correction from last week. I said Emily Carlisle played fantastic at hooker. She didn't actually play. She was out through concussion protocols. It was Alice Connolly I was thinking of. She was fantastic. She was outstanding, I thought. Obviously, when you're suffering from sort of concussion protocol and you have a strange guy on the podcast telling you had the game of your life, it probably makes you think, did that happen or not?
It's more like we had concussion going on about. We were talking about a girl that didn't play. It's slightly difficult because we get team news sort of second hand. We don't always hear about. So it's not, it's hard enough getting to find out about first team players who were injured. Never mind the ladies team. So that's a bit tricky. But yeah, no, we corrected it this week. Well played. And we won't make that mistake again.
No. So let's move on to the nines. Our ladies had 3 games. They played London and lost 8-5. Try from Sophie Morris. We had opportunities as well. Jen McVernon and Alex Simpson had a couple of opportunities, but London closed them down. Unfortunately, went down to defeat 8-5, Parker.
Yeah, strange score. 8-5. What was it? The tries were different.
Yeah, I think if there's there was like an area in the post, and if you score in that area, you get more points.
Right, that makes sense. I'm going to say he was dropping a goal in that. Yeah, it's unfortunate, unlucky. And we said last week it's a different animal, isn't it? When you're playing nines, to different players will have played. I don't know who's available. Again, we see it with our ladies all the time that certain girls can't turn up on certain days because of work, work things or whatever else. Plus, there's injuries and he may have looked at it. I don't know. I didn't see the squad, but I don't know if they looked at it and thought, do you know what? This girl's not played a lot this year. She can play in this, and we'll rest so and so for the for the league games. I don't know. I've not seen all that. But it's a shame, really. It's a shame it's not a bigger event. I know it's played at like Victoria Park in Warrington, wasn't it? Rather than taking place in somebody's stadium, getting people in, getting people down to watch it. A nice day. Could have been a proper festival of rugby league and drag the fans in. I think we sort of do things behind closed doors sometimes. So I think it needs a bit more exposure in the future. But close game. But unfortunately, not the way you want to start a tournament.
Yeah. So then they had to play Huddersfield and Wigan, 2 Super League sides back to back, with like a 5-minute rest in between. Lost 22-0 to Huddersfield. Lost 18-4 to Wigan, with Alex Simpson scoring for us, Parker.
Yeah, well, I mean, the Huddersfield game seems like a bit of a blowout because obviously I don't know how, is it 18 minutes the game or something like that? So it seems a lot of points in a short space of time. The Wigan game, though, I mean, Wigan, what they did to us in the cup not long ago. We know how strong Wigan are as a team, so that's quite an encouraging result. I know it's only nines and it doesn't really count, but it shows a little bit of an improvement, and especially 3rd game out of 3, you're playing the best team last, only having a few minutes rest in between. That's a big effort. That, so they're going to come out with a little bit of credit there.
Yeah. So the qualifiers were York, Saints, Cardiff, and Wigan. There's 2 wild cards to pick, Parker. And my money's on Leeds and Warrington because I think both won 2, lost 1, and both are quite good in the Super League. So I think they will complete the set for the finals day. And is it July?
Yeah. Well, I mean, the 4 teams you mentioned there that have gone through: York, who were Super League champions; Saints, who were brilliant, obviously, and the other 2, Wigan and Cardiff, are the other 2 teams we met in the cup.
Yeah,
we didn't get an easy run of it. We had it really, really tough in that Challenge Cup. It's not a great way to start the year. I don't know if we figured these groups out, but it wasn't very fair to us. But therefore, the four of the bigger teams, and I think you're probably right with the others. I think Leeds are a full-time setup and everything, and Warrington, you got to have the darlings of rugby league, aren't we, as well? So it's that wouldn't surprise me. I don't think we're complaining this year that we're not in it.
No, I'm not losing sleep over this one,
no.
Parker. Obviously, Paul, not being in the nines allows Mike Grady's ladies to concentrate on the championship form and aim for that playoff spot at the end of the season.
Yeah, they've been doing very well, haven't they, in the league since that started? Been consistent, got some good wins, and that distraction's out of the way now, isn't it? So they can concentrate on that and put everything into that now, for the rest of the season.
Yeah. So that's all the action this week, and now we'll look at all the big news coming out of the club. So we'll start with the big news that Marc Sneyd signed a new 2-year extension on his deal. Parker, we call him the Iceman for dealing with things that under pressure with drop goals and getting us around the field. Really important. We tied him down. Obviously, a massive player for us. So it gave us a good shot in the arm moving forward.
Yeah, I'm going to take some credit for this.
Yeah. Go on.
I was blowing smoke up Marc's bottom to Paul Rowley at that supporters meeting. I was asking him about players, and I was just saying I think Marc Sneyd's playing the best rugby of his career. I think everything he's learned throughout his career is now there for everybody to see. He's at the peak of his powers, and I was asking Rolls, was there anyone that he sort of spoke to Sneyd about becoming, what players that Paul had grown up watching or playing with that he thought Sneyd had to add this to his game to be at this level, and because we all knew he had a great kicking game, that was never in doubt at all. He won 2 Lance Todd trophies, didn't he, or something? He's obviously been a good player, but I think now we see a different Marc Sneyd, a man that just controls everything. He pulls the strings for us, and he's one of the main reasons we're doing what we're doing right now. And he seems to get better with age. He lost Brodie Croft last year, who's a key sort of influence in our team, and he stepped up again, and he's took both roles as far as I can see, because he hasn't had a constant standoff. We've had Cuss there, we've had Joe Mellor, we've had Chris Atkin, but Sneyd is the one constant, and he's the one that keeps us ticking. I can't praise the guy enough. I think he's been magnificent. It's just great news for us as a club, because there are teams out there at the moment sniffing, really needing scrum halves. Hull obviously being one of them. I don't think he'd go back there, but even Saints, lost Lewis Dodd. They need somebody to tide them over for the next couple of years until the next generation of Saints superstar comes through. He could have gone there quite easily and maybe even won something else. But great news for us. Absolutely magnificent.
Yeah, Marc Sneyd overtaken Steve Blakely as our top Super League point scorer with 625 points. Paul, want to try 10 assists, 34 goals so far this season?
Yeah, he's co-kicking in the season, been outstanding. He's like 90-odd%. He's only missed a couple. I think he's missed 3 actually. So he's been great. He's been great since he's come back, and I think like Parky said there's other clubs sniffing round. Once again, I think it highlights how players enjoy playing for Salford. Signed a contract and wants to stay. Wants to play for Paul Rowley, and I think Paul Rowley does a lot of credit. If you speak to any of the players, they love him. They absolutely love him, and they love his man management style. Him and Kurt, and Chris Ninu as well. I think he deserves the credit. I think we've got a really good coaching setup at Salford, and the players believe in that. And they come in and stay in at Salford for the right reasons. And that's to win things and play well. So yeah, I'm delighted Sneyd stayed at the club. There's not many players in Super League like Marc Sneyd. They're not ten a penny players like that. You lose him and you go, we'll just go and sign another playmaking scrum half who can just get us around the pitch. They're not. It's very hard to get somebody like that. You look at some of the other teams in Super League. Look at Huddersfield, for example. They signed that guy Frawley. I mean, it's not a patch on Marc Sneyd. He's not good enough to lay Sneedy's boots. So, I mean, no disrespect to the lad, but it's difficult. People are signing lads from Australia. Leeds have brought people in. I mean, Crofty's a good player, isn't it? But totally different player to Sneedy. So I'm delighted he's staying.
Yeah, so that's great news for Marc Sneyd to sign a new contract, keeps him at the club for another 2 years. Next bit of news, Parker, the club have announced a flexi ticket for potential new fans. You get 5 home games. You can save between 15 and 40% on the ticket price if you choose the game through the flexi ticket option. I think it's great for obviously people maybe who are shift workers who can't guarantee they'll get to every game, so that's why they haven't bought a season ticket. So I think it's great that the club are doing this kind of thing to give people options.
I think it's a brilliant idea. I really do. I think it's one of the best things we've come up with recently. It does. It gives people an option, and you pick games. People do that anyway. I might go to that. I might go to. We're playing well. You're going to want to go to more. And once you bought it, you're guaranteed that money's there. Then 5 games. I dare say you're even counting on the attendance whether you turn up or not. I don't think it matters. But it's a brilliant idea, really is, and a good value, really good value over the games. And we've got some big games coming up as well. So it's a great time to get it. In the summer as well. You get a day out in the sun, hopefully. So yeah, brilliant idea, and I think it's something we could probably look to do. Season on season now. Maybe make it. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know how you extend it or what else you can do, but there's got to be something there. But it's a brilliant idea, and certainly something I hope everyone buys. Well, those that need to can buy into.
Yeah, lots of terms and conditions. You could read that on the club's website, what you can and can't do. I think it's good that it's for a particular. It's for an area rather than for a seat, Paul. So, let's say you have a friend who wants to dip his toe into Salford Devils. You could say, get this flexi ticket, and we'll try and get you in with us in the east stand, now south stand, north stand, whatever you say. So it gives them an option, doesn't it, to potentially bring more fans in.
Yeah, it certainly does, and hats off to the club for trying that. We played some great rugby at home so far this season, haven't we? Got some massive games coming up as well, and I think people will really enjoy it. If you've not been before, it's always a fantastic atmosphere at Salford Stadium, and we've got the next game coming up in a couple of weeks against Wigan. Imagine if we can beat Leigh this weekend, going into that game with 16 points, top of the table with Wigan. So I think going down the track in the season, there's going to be some great days, and I'm pretty sure people are going to enjoy it. But hats off to the club for coming up with these initiatives. And, I've been really positive this season with the crowds. I always am positive. But, the crowds have been better and better week on week and slowly, gradually building. And, that's all you can do. You've just got to keep, plugging away and the team playing well on the pitch as well. I think things are going to come together.
Yeah. Next bit of news. The Salford Devils Foundation held the Salford Schools rugby finals, Parker, on the community pitches. Obviously, it's great. Obviously, want the community, don't we, to be involved in different schools, bring in different teams, made it a great competition.
Yeah, very much. Well, I know, obviously, going forward, part of the mayor election is just Ben and our mayor, who's obviously been re-elected, has got grand plans for developing the game of rugby league in the schools in Salford. There's a planning, a strategy now in place, which was part of their manifesto, funnily enough, part of his manifesto as well. So it's going to be there. It's in writing now. So we're only going to see these things get bigger and better, and hopefully more people taking part. And our club's right at the heart of it, offering hopefully the ground will be sorted and we can get more activities going on there. But yeah, always great. It's gone on for years. I think it was always great when we played at the Willows. You get get the finals there, and all the parents would turn out, and that's like always really good. Big event in the calendar, really. So yeah, good to say. I don't know who made it. I don't know who's in the finals this year, but
I can tell you the winners.
Okay.
Year 7 winners were Wellacre PE Department. Year 8 winners were St Ambrose Barlow. Year 9 winners were St Joseph's RCHS, and the Year 10/11 winners were St Ambrose Barlow as well. So congratulations to them 3 schools. Paul, obviously, like Parky said, opportunity to engage with the community in the schools, and maybe you might see a superstar 20 years down the line coming through our hopefully academy down the line.
Yeah, well, that's what everybody wants to see, don't they? And I think that manifesto that's happening. I mean, like Parker said, it's in writing now, and I think it just goes to show you've got good people involved, in sort of the councils and that. If they want to get involved in rugby league, I'm all for that. It brings so much to the community. We've said that before. The rugby league club is at the heart of the community. There's so many good things. As well as just, the 13 lads that take the pitch at weekend, there's all sorts of other things that goes on. And it's a beacon, the club. We've said that before, people rely on it, makes people happy, it gets people together, people build friendships and things like that. So, I mean, I think it's been great. And, the more kids we can get playing the sport, the better. It really is in the schools, and we've got some good community clubs in the area as well that we can all link together. It can only benefit, Salford Red Devils going forward. I mean, you look at the catchment area we've got. People talk about other clubs, but we had a massive sleeping giant of the sport. With massive potential. We're not a small parochial town. We're a big city, and a city in a really good position as well. So we've just got to keep working and building these foundations.
Yeah. Final bit of news: Lance Todd Trophy Dinner will be held at the Marriott on Tuesday, the 11th of June. Smart casual dress, Parky, as our dedicated follower of fashion. Always a great night. Obviously, with the good and great of rugby league in attendance.
Yeah. I was lucky enough to get a ticket last year, and obviously went. Brilliant night. It always is. Last year it was in Manchester, so I believe they've moved it back to, like I say, to the Marriott this year in Worsley. Yeah, it's always good. Like you say, I mean, you see some of the ex-players there that, legends of the game, real proper legends. And last year, Derek Beaumont came, and we were lucky enough that he brought the trophy with him. Adrian Lamb was there, obviously Lachlan winning the award. And they have the meal and then a comedian, and I'm not saying too much about the comedian, to be honest, but the night itself was brilliant, and it is always a great night. Always has been. So sadly, we're still waiting for our first ever Salford winner of the Lance Todd. So hopefully it might come, as I say, next year. But it'll be interesting to see who gets it this year. We don't, obviously we're at the semi-final stage. There's some big players there, so you just never know. And the one thing I will say about the Lance Todd is the player who wins it, he's not drummed home enough how important it is. But when they've won it, they come to the meal and they finally realise that this is a big event. This is something they made history. This is something massive that they've achieved, being a man of the match in a Wembley Cup final. He's only one person every year does it, and you look at some of the names that have done it, and then other names that have been to Wembley and not done it. So it's funny when you listen to that player talk about his award and what it means, and then he'll get it off the player who won it the year before, and he'll say, "When I won this, I didn't really know what it was." He said, "But after 12 months of having it, it's a real sort of boost to your career, and it's something that it'll be a highlight that you'll remember forever."
What I do know is John Blackburn has to chase the winner over land and sea to get the trophy back. I think, was it Bosque who won it in France for Catalan?
Could have been.
Yeah, that was a journey by all accounts, trying to get it back off him. So it's, like I say, it's a fantastic occasion. Paul, like Parky said, music, comedy, casino, £80 for a single ticket, £775 for a table of 10, £900 for a table of 10 plus beers, wine, and sparkling water.
Tony Gigo won it, wasn't it, for Catalans?
Him, yeah, it was one of them.
Yeah, Tony Gigo, yeah. I don't think he went to. I think that was the one I went to, and I don't think he turned up for some reason, whether he had to go back to France or whatever. But it is a great night. It is a brilliant night, and like Pike said, the highlight for me is just seeing sort of the ex-winners, players that played when my dad was a lad, and where you've heard stories about people like Brian Lockwood and blokes like Malcolm Reilly. I mean, I saw Malcolm Reilly, and it's like, wow. Yeah, I can remember him as a kid being, Great Britain's manager, and you think he's like one of the immortals of the sport. Who's done it, in Australia as well. So you're getting to see the Lance Todd winner, but you're seeing these guys who are like, you've only really read about them in programs and seen them on the telly and that, and then I'm a bit of a sad old, but you meet these people and you think, wow, it's a privilege to be in the same room as them. So it's a dead exciting night. If you get a chance to go, it's something you remember forever.
Yeah. So if you want to go, we want to book a place, contact John Blackburn on 077 627 32790 or email him at john.blackburn@salfordcc.ac.uk. Promises to be a quality night. So that's all the big news. And now we'll look forward to the weekend's game against Leigh. So Salford Red Devils travel to Leigh in the derby. Parker, big game. Obviously, after last week's win, we're on the right side of the split in the Super League at the moment, so we need to keep winning to keep ourselves there.
Yeah, this is a key game for me in the season. We've struggled at Leigh. Obviously, not so much last year. We got a couple of wins, but in previous years, we struggled at the Leigh Sports Village. I think if we can win this, another away game as well, but against a team sort of coming into form a little bit, backing up from the Warrington Huddersfield wins, it sets us up lovely for the Wigan game. Really does. We go into that full of confidence. Shame we've lost a couple of players to injury. It's worse for us than most teams because of the size of our squad. I don't know how he replaced Joe Shorrocks. I think he's been sensational for us. And obviously Joe Mellor made his way into the team after missing a big chunk with injury and then gets injured again. So bit of shuffling about for Rolls to do this week against his hometown team. And, obviously Kurt Haggerty was coach there. He beat us as well as coach. Who hasn't? But he's, it's a big game. Really is a key game for us. Leigh look pretty sharp at the moment. I know they got pegged back against Cass at the weekend, and that'll be disappointing. And hopefully the extra time took a bit out of them. But the week before against Catalan, they were outstanding. They were back to where we saw them last year. Some of their attacking play was first class. So it's going to be a massive game. Great atmosphere. My only regret is I won't be there, which is absolutely killing me. Of all the weeks, it has to be that one. But unfortunately, family comes first. But yeah, I think it'll be a great game. The atmosphere will be electric. Hopefully the weather can stay as it has done over the last few days. And I think it'll be a great night.
Yeah, bit of a mini crisis though, evolving at Leigh. Star player goes to Hull. They draw at Cass against Cass at home. Lamb linked to Hull. Paul, that'll be in the back of their minds going to this game.
Yeah, he's going for next season. That's the answer, isn't it? He struggled with injuries this season because I know he came back and he was in the team against Catalan. I think he was on the bench, wasn't he? And then he didn't play last week against Cass. I don't know if he's going to be in the squad this week, so I'm not really sure what's going on with him and his injuries and whatever. But Edwin Pappy came back, didn't he, the weekend, and he's a big player for them. Like you said, Lachlan Lamb and Ben McNamara has been playing at half back as well there. So I think Moyle's been playing full back. So they're a dangerous team. I think they've got vulnerabilities about them. I thought that game against Cass, they let Cass off the hook there in that last 10 minutes. Both the senior brothers scored, didn't they? And they got back into the game. But they're a good side at home, aren't they? They've only got 5 points, though. Like you're saying there, though, I think they played well the other week against Warrington. I saw that game. They should have won that, really. They was unlucky in that game. So they've not been far off. Whereas you look at our wins, we've won 7 games. But you look at, really, we could have lost all 7 of them because they've all been really close, haven't they, if they'd have gone the other way. And I think Leigh had been on the other side of the coin where they come up short in a lot of games. But, they could have won them. So, yeah, it'd be a tough game. But it's, like Pag said, it's a pivotal game. You win this one, 16 points there. and then you've got Wigan. I mean, we could go top of the table on Friday night, which is it's amazing, really, isn't it? And you've got a massive game against Wigan at home. So, you've got to take each game as it comes, which is what we've been doing at the moment. And Leigh will be difficult. But I think we've got the tools to beat Leigh.
That reminds me, on Friday, when we bumped into Paul King coming out from the director's box, and he said, 16 points. He said, you said something like, Everton was safe now for relegation. And it looked like he nearly threw you down the stairs.
Well, that is your mentality, didn't it? But no, this season's been amazing so far. It really has. I mean, we're doing so well. If you look at the league table now, you've got the top six. All the top six are level on 14 points. So how brilliant is that? I mean, not just for us, but for the other clubs as well. I mean, it'd be great to get 2 new teams at a grand final again. It's great for the sport. I'm glad St Helens are having it tough, so to speak. I'm glad they got beat because they've won loads of trophies. So we want to see it getting shared about. I think Ulcar are doing really, really well. They're a real good home team at the moment. I'm not sure about them away from home, but they're winning games, and it's causing excitement. It's getting people to look at the game and think, wow, there's some different clubs here and whatever. And Salford are a part of that. So we've just got to keep turning up and doing the business. And I fancy us to turn Leigh over.
Yeah. Didn't we win both away games last season, Parker?
Yeah.
And we beat London away. We beat Huddersfield away. Confidence running through the veins. Say Paul Rowley going back to his former club. It could be a good day.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, this season we've only not performed in one game, which was Ulcar away in the cup. Which we've seen what Ulcar have done on their own patch to Wigan and Saints in the last 2 weeks. So maybe we weren't on it, but they certainly are. And the Cast game was disappointing, but we could have won it at their place. We could have beat Leeds. We should have beat Wigan. Other than that, what season we're having? We are a good team. And like I said last week, and I said to Paul Rowley, and I've said it a few times, about us getting our heads around the fact that we're actually a good team. Why we still going to get, like Paul said there, about it should be enough points to keep us up. we have got that mentality that's the way it's been for 40 years. It doesn't change overnight, but the players don't have that thought. The players don't go into a game thinking, we're at Saints tonight, we've not won here for 40 years. That doesn't bother them. It's a case of just another 17 blokes in front of us that we've got to go and beat, and that's where we're at. And I think Paul's right. I think looking at us at the moment, the way we're playing, the confidence we've got, like I say, a bit gutted a couple of injuries, but I think going into this game, we should be absolutely buzzing. The players should be, floating on air, really. It's only down the road. It's not a long travelling day. There's no worries. I think we should go there and turn them over. I know the bookies have got Leigh favourites, which I don't know how that works. I don't know how Leigh are favourites when we're in the top 6 with 14 points and they've got 5. They've just drawn at home to Castleford. I mean, I don't know where these bookies get their ideas from. They do know something. That's where they're multimillionaires and I'm not. But I think it's a bit of an odd one. But I fancy us this week. I know I said it sort of begrudgingly last week that I thought we could beat Huddersfield. I was a little bit worried. I was only a couple of points out, I think 2 points out in the prediction. So I'm going to go for us again this week, though. I think we can turn Leigh over. If Leigh perform to their full ability, it's going to be a real struggle. But I just think at the moment we have the edge.
What time's kick-off?
8:05.
8:05 kick-off. I'm going to predict that Parker, with his and his little jolly, will be missing between 8 and 10. Maybe on a mobile phone hiding, watching the match. Parker, do you think?
Well, I'm planning on taking the iPad with me, but I was hoping that maybe there might be a boozer near where we're going, and I'll have it on. We're up in the Lake District, overlooking Windermere. So I'm thinking, why am I so upset that I'm not going to Leigh when I'm going to Windermere? I mean, of the two places, I know which one I really prefer, but with the boys playing in Leigh, you'd have to go there. So hopefully, the family won't miss me too much while I'm hibernating for a couple of hours. And if we do lose, I just hope nobody tries to speak to me. That might ruin someone's weekend.
A former Salford and Leigh player Simon Baldwin used to walk on water. Hopefully, you'll do the same with a win against Leigh. Parker. Paul, give us your prediction. What's your thoughts?
I'm going to go Leigh 10, Salford 19.
19-10. Okay, Parker, thoughts, predictions?
Yeah, well, he wasn't far enough where I was going, so I'm going to have to change it now. You've done me head. Yeah, I was going to have Leigh with 10, strangely. I'll say Leigh 14, Salford 24.
14-24. Parker in for the Nando's this week, which is good news. Saw a bit of a Twitter convo between you and someone about, I might not be able to do it ever again. Predict Salford win. I thought about joining in and say, don't get the Nando's, then don't make him do it. So
yeah. Somebody said they thought I jinxed it.
Yeah,
by going for Salford.
And you were like, don't worry, I won't do it again. I thought you will do it again.
I'll try my best. Before I carry on, by the way, can I just say thanks to Stuart Smart, one of our listeners, who managed to sort me out with a ticket the other night. I was a little bit worried because I hadn't been well. I hadn't got down to the stadium to get one. I thought, I don't want to be messing about on the night of the stadium, not with my lamps in the dark. I'll see nothing. And he came forward and emailed me a ticket, which was very nice of him. I will pay you back, by the way, even though you told me not to. But yes, thank you very much for that. You're a lifesaver.
What a nice guy. Paul.
Yeah, he's top man, that Stuart. He's a good runner, isn't he? He's always doing his running and whatever. I see him on Facebook doing that. The top Salford support. He's always at the games, and that he's a top lad. That's really nice thing for him to do. Nice one, mate.
Yeah. So my prediction, I'm going to go Leigh 26, Salford 52. Points fest.
I pointed out to you last week that we don't score many points. I don't know how many times this year we've scored more than 20. I don't see. I've gone 24, which is a bit odd. I don't see a lot of tries. I really don't. I think that's just the way Super League is at the moment. Not many teams are free flowing. Defenses are really tight. So if you get that many points, Sky will be happy.
Yes. Prediction. Got to be confident. Paul, that Rowley ball will click and maybe Leigh go down to 12 men. Gives us a bit more space. And Nenny McDonald pulling strings. Yeah.
Well, I've never met anybody as confident as you, mate. I mean, you are confident. Yeah. They need to get you in there as a motivational speaker. People
can you imagine?
Can walk on water with you. Yeah. I'd run through a brick wall for you.
Think so? Oh.
Your confidence, yeah. Yeah, you make anybody feel 10 foot tall.
Yeah. I just think I think rugby league is a lot more in the mind than people make out. Yeah, and I think if you good things start happening on the field and you get a roll on, anything can happen. And I think we're a team that in the first 15 minutes what Salford's going to turn up because of the way they play. And we're on a bit of a roll. We've won a few games, played pretty well against Huddersfield. Last 10 minutes weathered the storm, so we're full of confidence. Why can't we go to Leigh and put a score on? Okay.
Yeah.
I absolutely agree, mate. I mean, we're three wins on the bounce, aren't we now? We win this, you go 4, you get Wigan the week after, and then I think a couple of weeks out we've got London at home. I mean, the boys have got to be looking at that thinking we could get a real run going here and already more or less trying to secure yourself a place in that top 6. I was looking the other day actually at the fixtures, and I don't know how we get it every year. We're away first game and last game, but our last 4 games, 3 of them away, and 2 of them are actually in Hull. So you don't, if we're fighting out to get in the playoffs, you don't want 3 away games in your last 4, and you don't want to travel all the way up there. And the last one is Wigan away, which is just an absolute nightmare because Wigan don't lose at home generally. So we've got to get the points in now as we can. And especially, I mean, this game is obviously away and we won last week away, but especially the home games, we've got to make the most of them. So it's going to be very interesting. And that's why I think this game is so pivotal at this stage of the season.
It is. So, end of this podcast. Paul, another great show.
Yeah, I was just thinking there, Parker was saying about the last 3 games, one of them was away at Hull. But the players want a bit of a rest. They could send a team of supporters for that game where they're playing. Give them a week off, can't we? But no, I've enjoyed it, lads. I've enjoyed the podcast. And yeah, I'm looking forward to Friday night. It should be. I like going to Leigh. I think it's a really good, it's a bit like Warrington, isn't it? Really good atmosphere. And I believe they've got an Oasis tribute band on as well, which sound pretty good. Called Oasis. So that should be pretty good. They put a really good night on, don't they, at Leigh? So I'm really excited. I might have to go straight from work, but no, it should be a good night.
You might need to record it for Parker. The groan he made there.
You've absolutely ruined me now.
I forgot. Yeah, sorry, mate. Sorry.
I'm Oasis, the soundtrack of my youth. I don't believe it. I really don't.
My favourite band ever as well.
Yeah, mine. And I might have to cry now. It was bad enough. We're only down the road at Leigh in a big game when we're playing well. Now you tell me these are on.
Don't worry. There'll be Wi-Fi. There'll be Wi-Fi in this cottage. Just go high, find yourself a hill to stand on. Job done. Or go and hide in the cupboard where no one sees you for 2 hours.
It's not the same. Not the same. It is not the same. Anyone who can sit home and watch sport on TV when your team's playing, it kills me. So anyway, yeah, we'll see, and just wish the lads all the best. And sadly, everybody, you're gonna have to give an extra one for me this week.
Yeah, I want to say big thanks to all our Kofi Reds that have donated this week to help the podcast. Buy the programs. Parker helps us produce this podcast that everyone enjoys. Yeah,
very much so. Like I say, and I mentioned off air, the people who come up to you at the games and say, I love what you lads do, or I listen this week, or what, it still knocks me out that people are bothering, that people actually want to listen. And I think it's brilliant. I really do. And we're just fortunate we get to be a bit of a mouthpiece and say what we think. Not everybody's in that privileged position, and then people listen, and then people donate. I mean, generosity. I mean, I've mentioned Stuart before with a ticket and things like that. It's just brilliant. I can't thank people enough.
Yeah. So big thanks for joining us on this Devil in the Detail. I'm Rob Parkinson. You can find us on Facebook, Devil in the Detail SRD. You can find us on X at DITD SRD. And you can find us on SoundCloud, iTunes, and Spotify, and rugbyleague.com. So big thanks for joining us, and we'll see you soon for more Salford Devils chat. Good luck, Reds. We'll see you on the other side.